I know without a doubt, every single one of us has heard at least someone argue about whether men or women are superior to one another. If, depending who you are, you might say that women are superior to men. However, I am here to tell you guys why men are superior to women. I'm going to talk about how historically men have been superior to women, how they're physically superior to women. I'll also talk about how they are socially and economically more valued than women, and I will also tell you why women are not superior to men because of their emotional intelligence. To begin, so historically, men have held more dominant roles in society. According to Gender, Power, and Institutions in the Republic of Ireland, quote, male dominance is not only signified by the overwhelming presence of men within the public and political domain, but in the disproportionate power that men hold within these spaces, and the ways in which this is maintained, legitimized, and naturalized. As I've stated before, men have dominated high positions in society. When we think of the higher positions in society, we mainly think of the presidential positions, and every single president that there's been in the United States has been primarily men. And in addition to this, men are also responsible for countless historical achievements. According to the Smithsonian Magazine, there was a survey, or it was data collected finding what the 100 most influential people are on the internet. So they found, and out of the 100 people, 10% of those people were women. So that just shows that the 90% were dominated by men. And we know many people such as like Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X. They've paved the way for great achievements in African American societies. And this is just one brief example of how men have dominated in society. Secondly, men are more biologically dominant than women. How is this true? Well, men are known to be more physically dominant. So, according to the American College of Sports and Medicine, quote, biological sex is a determinant of athletic performance. Adult males are faster, stronger, more powerful than females because of fundamental sex differences in anatomy and physiology dictated by sex chromosomes. Often, women say that men and women can do the same things. However, why is it that whenever there is something that needs to be done that takes a lot of effort, women often say that that is a man's job? For example, let's say that I'm taking groceries. Often people say that they look down on men who don't carry the heavy groceries because that's a man's job. However, if that were true, then if it were true that women were able to do the same things, why are men held more accountable than women to that? In addition to this, men also have more reproductive advantages. According to physician Felix Gusson, quote, there is no set time period when a man's sperm production stops. Women are born with all the eggs they will ever have. Men, on the other hand, are able to produce sperm cells for their entire lives. So this just shows that men are able to continue to reproduce and have children. And the oldest living father was 96 years old, and he had a child naturally. And for women, menopause starts from age around 35 to their mid-40s, and this shows that after that certain time, they're not able to have children anymore. And as men get older, it does become more difficult for them to have kids, but it's not completely, it isn't completely taken away like it is for women. Thirdly, men are more socially and economically valued than women. So men are favored when it comes to representation and leadership. According to the University of Buffalo, quote, for example, men tend to be more assertive and dominant, whereas women tend to be more communal, cooperative, and nurturing. As a result, men are more likely to participate, voice their opinions during group discussions, and be perceived by others as leader-like. Often when we think of dominance, people think that men are being misogynistic, and however, the issue with this is that men are being misogynistic. We're just more willing to put our foot down and do what has to be done. Also, men receive higher income distribution. According to Lexology, quote, the main explanation put forward by the popular press for the gender gap in women's sports is less popular than men's and therefore generates less revenue. We often hear women argue that men and women should be paid for playing sports. I mean, they should be paid the same. However, this is not the case because men's sports are statistically more viewed than women's sports. So why should women be paid the same if they're bringing less revenue to the sports that they play? Some people might say that women are superior because they score higher in emotion-related tests. But however, women are not superior to men because of their emotional intelligence. Although women are able to do better in tests, or allegedly do better in tests relating to emotion, this could be false because according to the National Library of Medicine, quote, we should keep in mind, however, that the differences that we found were small and therefore we cannot yet speculate on social implications of these findings. So the reason many of these women score high on tests of emotion is not because it's significantly different than the score that men get. Yes, there is a slight difference. However, the differences in the test isn't enough to completely say that women are more dominant or more emotionally dominant than men. So in conclusion, men are superior to women. And this is because the dominance that they've had in the past and they continue to have will continue to roll on into the future. And although this topic might be debated on, the proof of men in history has continued to prove why the leadership of men is why the United States is as good as it is right now. And people might argue that this could change. However, if it hasn't changed before, this dominance is bound to continue for time in the future.